Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video tutorial on how I color my drawings. So I do the sketch, the line art, and the flats all in Manga Studio 5, and then I import, which you'll see later, into Photoshop for the final touches like overlays and sharpening and stuff. Now we're in Manga Studio, and as you can see, I've already done the line work for the sketch. That's just in preparation for the video, and lining is kind of tedious and boring anyway. There's not too much that I could explain on besides like what pen I use or size, which is just the standard stuff. Getting into actually coloring your art, there are endless ways that you can go about doing it. I've done at least 4 different ways of coloring my pieces in the past. The thing that I'm stuck to now, and the one that I most use, is using the wand tool and the expand command. Now with the wand tool, this method that I use only works with connected lines, and that you have to be on the line art layer. Over here you can see all my layers that I have. To do it, you can't obviously select a layer that's not line art and it won't work. So I'll go on my lines layer and I'll select the outside of everything that I want to color in. So we'll do it here, 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 and let's say here too. Basically, whenever you're selecting multiple areas with the wand tool, you want to hold down Shift whenever you're clicking, because if you don't, then it'll just mess up. It'll act like it's selecting that area and only that area. So like this is plain clicking right here, clicking. But if you're shift clicking, then it's selecting multiple areas that you're going to. Now with everything that I want to initially flat one color to start my process off selected around, I will go and expand selected area by 1. That just brings your selection closer to the lines. My lines are a little thinner, so I don't really go past 2. So I'll expand them. You can see they got a little closer, and then I'm going to invert the selected area, which is taking, just as it says, the selection and inverting it. So when it's inverted, now you can see this is all selected here. I'll go to my flats layer, select the skin tone, and I'm going to hit G for my paint bucket tool, where you can use the little command here, and just fill it in. Now next is when it gets a little tedious. I have to go in and color all of the elements individually of what they are. You could go and use your brush tool and manually color everything in. But like I said before, I use the wand tool and I use the expand, and I just go in and select everything that I want as that particular color, expand it, fill it. But before I fill it, I make separate layers for what elements I want. I make them above the flats layer, and then I do a clip at layer below. It's this little button right here. I'll put a zoom in on it. But it basically clips to the layer that's below it, and you can only color in that, like what's below. So that's clipped, that's unclipped. And they work exactly the same as regular layers do, whereas the one that's on the top is going to be shown most, and then the ones that are underneath it are going to be obviously hidden by the ones that are on top. I usually go and make just like accessory layers, the clothing layers, and the hair layers on top of my flats. Okay, now with everything in its own little layer, that makes it easier for me to change colors if I need to without ruining any other elements in the piece. So from here, I'm just gonna select everything and color it in, and then we'll have all the layers as they should be, where I want them. And I'm not gonna bore you guys with the 1.5 hour long process that's gonna take me to color this. So I'm just gonna speed it up real quick for you. So now that I've got the flats the way that I want them, finally, I make a new layer above all of them, still a clipped layer, and then I change it to hard light. And that's going to be my shading layer. Basically, hard light mode means that if you take a color that is around 50% or less gray, then it'll make it like a lighten mode. So it'll make all the colors underneath it like a tidbit lighter. And if it's more than 50% gray, then it makes it so it's like multiplies, so it burns the color a little bit. I use purple for my shading, just gives it a nice fun neon-y effect. So the last thing that I do before I import the file into Photoshop is I color part of the lines. And with that, I'll either lock the transparency of the line layer, or I'll add a new layer above it and do another clip it layer below onto it. And then from there, whatever part I want to color into the lines are, it's usually the skin, part of the clothes, the hair. I'll go and I'll select the color, and then I will take it a little bit darker than what the color is, and then I'll just color it in. Now that I'm in Photoshop, the last step for me to do is taking all of the layers that I have and putting them in a folder. Once I have them in a folder, I'll duplicate that folder using Control-J, and then I'll flatten that folder into one layer using Control-E. Once the image is flattened into one layer, I go and sharpen it using Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. But to be honest with you, I just play around with the settings to make it look like how I want it to look. I don't have a particular method to the madness. After sharpening, I'll make a new layer above that layer, set it to soft light filter, and then I'll either fill it with a certain color that I want as an overlay, or I'll use my special gradients like I'm doing here. Putting some sort of overlay filtered layer on top of the image seems to give the piece a more unified feel for me anyways. And I play with layer modes all the time in different colors. There's no like particular way that I do things. I just trial and error it all the time until I find something that I like. And that's pretty much it. That's my process that I've been doing for the past, I want to say 6 to 8 months or so. I'm sure it'll change up, but for now it's a pretty fun method, I think. Let me know in the comments if you guys have anything else that you want me to do tutorials on, or if you have any other questions, or if this method works for you as far as coloring. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!